Hey, photo crew, coming to you live again from the print farm. In this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you how to print through Photoshop to the new Canon Pixma Pro 1s, similar to what you already know from printing to the Epson printers. Very basic, again, as I pointed out in the previous video. Make sure that you're printing a flattened file and that you sharpen your file prior to making your print. So we're going to go up to the File menu and choose Print, or shortcut again, Command P, when the Print dialog box opens up. There's only a couple things that we have to do in here. It's going to be a little different than the way that we work with the Epson printers, but it's a very simple setup. So first of all, we're going to make sure that we choose the correct printer. In this case, Print Farm 9A or Print Farm 9B. The number of copies that we want, the layout, the orientation, whether it's portrait or landscape, and then we're going to simply go into print settings. When we do so, it's going to open up the print dialog box. In here, again, we're just going to verify our settings at the top. We're going to go into our paper size. Now, this particular printer is a 13 by 19 printer versus 17 by 22 of the Epson. So you're going to have the option of printing letter, tabloid, your 11 by 17, or 13 by 19, which is the A3 sizes up at the top. So I'm going to stick with the letter option for right now and point out just two of the options that we have here. We have US letter and then US letter borderless if you want your print to go all the way to the end. Now the 13 by 19 does not allow you to print borderless. Okay, so keep that in mind. So for this particular demo, I'm going to choose the US letter as the option, 8.5 by 11, and then we're going to go into the drop-down menu directly below it. From here, we're going to go down to Quality and Media. From this setting, it's going to be very simple. By default, color management is disabled in the Canon printer driver, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about finding that option to turn it off. It's already turned off by default, so you don't need to mess with that. All you have to do in here is select your paper source. So under media type, we have all of our photo papers in one section now. With the Epson one, we have the glossy photo papers, we have the matte papers, we have the fine art papers. In this case, we have photo papers and fine art papers. For here, our matte papers are going to show up under the photo paper options as well. So we have our luster, semi-gloss, glossy, and then matte paper as well. So what I'm going to select as this option is the the Photo Paper Pro Luster. From the paper source, there are two options to choose from: manual feed and rear tray. For this particular one, we want to choose the rear tray. Now, it's referred to as the rear tray, but it's actually the tray that sticks out from the top where you normally feed your paper through. Okay, so it's not anywhere in the back of the printer. That would be the manual feed. So select the rear tray option and then go down to print quality and simply select high as your print quality. If you're going to make a black and white print, put a check mark in the black and white photo print option down there at the bottom, and that's it. You're all set. You're all ready to go here. I'm going to point out a couple of other options that are in here. One is going to be the borderless printing if you choose the borderless paper size. If you go into the borderless printing option, well, it's disabled right now because I didn't choose the paper option, but if I were to go into US letter borderless, I now have control over how much of the image I want to extend off the edge of the paper. Okay, so I'll just leave it as is right now. The other option that you may want to take a look at, and you don't have to, is the clear coating. So one thing that's unique about the Canon printer that we have now versus the Epson printers is that the Canon has a gloss optimizer. I refer to it as a gloptimizer. So the gloss optimizer is a coating that goes, a clear coating that goes on top of the entire print. It's on by default when you're printing on glossy papers, whether it be a glossy finish or a luster finish. So it's going to apply automatically to your image area. And what it does is it cuts down on gloss differential. So you learn about that in the printing class, talk about it in the Photoshop class as well when it comes to printing. So that's for more advanced uses, but if you guys have no idea what I'm even talking about, don't even mess with it. But I wanted to put it out there just in case you're one of those individuals who likes exploring. So Once we're all set, once we have our options selected, go ahead and hit save. Once again, it's going to take us back to our original print dialog box. And in here, we're going to go down into color management. So as with the Epson printers, we want to make sure that the printer does not manage our colors. We're printing through Photoshop, so we want to make sure that Photoshop is managing the colors for us. So from the drop-down menu here, we're going to select Photoshop Manages Colors. When we do so, our printer profiles now become available to us. So from this drop-down menu, we have the list of Canon profiles. All right, with the Epson printers, we have Epson profiles. So from this list, I'm simply going to go through and I'm going to find the Canon Pro Photo Paper Pro Luster option, select that, and then select my rendering intent. So relative colorimetric is selected by default, and keep in mind that we're only going to use one of the two, perceptual or relative colorimetric, or we only need to use one of the two. As far as perceptual goes, once again, it's in the way that out of gamut colors are handled. So perceptual is going to maintain continuous tone, keep your photos a little more photographic, whereas relative colorimetric is going to maintain saturation. So for this particular option, I'm going to go ahead and select perceptual. Now you'll notice that my image is a little bit larger than the paper itself. Again, I can move it around, similar to the Epson option as well. This is the same Photoshop driver that we're working in. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go to the scaled print size area. And in here, I'm just going to put a check mark in scale to fit media. That will get my photo to set up on the paper or fit within the 8.5 by 11 size paper. As I mentioned in the previous video, the resolution goes up, but we don't need to be concerned with that at this particular point. Once these options are all set up, you're ready to go. All you have to do is hit print, and Paper Cut's going to open up to make sure that you verify, and you're all set. You're good to go. If you guys have any questions or concerns, see myself, see someone in the cage, or someone in the print center. Good luck and happy printing.